If you want to join me for a month or two, I've already got a villa being built near Tarraco. You too, Aulus, if you want." Crispus beamed at them. "I've never visited Spain. In fact, this particular command is the first time I have left the familiar shores of Italy. Good grief, I've precious rare been out of Rome itself. I'd be enchanted to join you." Fronto glanced out of the tent doorway at the distant sound of the cornican. "Sounds like Priscus has given the call. We've got maybe a count of 100 before they're fully standing to." Crispus squinted out of the doorway and into the sunlight. "Regardless of the events of yesterday, I find it impossible to believe that Ariovistus will commit his forces today. How many times have we presented ourselves before his camp and all but begged him to engage us? I am certain of one thing. He will refrain from attacking either of our forces as long as he is under threat from both sides." Fronto nodded his agreement. "I'm no student of grand tactics, but I agree entirely with Aulus. If he's going to attack us at any time, I'd look to our defences at night, when the two forces are harder to combine. Still, Caesar wants that we present ourselves for battle, so present ourselves we shall." Longinus gave them both a crafty grin as he tightened the belt around his chain cavalry shirt. "We'll see him today, all right, I can guarantee you." Fronto furrowed his brow and squinted suspiciously at Longinus. "All right, Gaius, what do you know?" Longinus stretched, watching the arming process appreciatively, quite grateful he had to wear only a standard cavalry mail shirt. "Ariovistus has a very few long-range cavalry scouts still outside the field that come and go at night. He's now well aware of the train of supply wagons that should reach this very spot not long before dark. He won't attack until he's sure he's only fighting on one front, but he has to destroy this camp by nightfall or he's failed to stop our supplies." Crispus grinned. "So he's definitely coming, then?" Fronto's furrowed brow had not moved. "How do you know all about the German scouts and what they've seen?" Longinus tapped him on the head and made a hollow sound in his cheek. "How do you think I know, Marcus? I've had my own scouts marking theirs one-on-one for days now. I know everything they've seen and done." Slowly, the frown on Fronto's face fell away, to be replaced with a content smile. "I'm going to rip the bastard German's face off if I get hold of him. You and every other Roman on the field. Come on, or we'll be late for your primus pilus, and he takes the piss even when you're on time." Making a few last-minute adjustments to the uniforms, the three commanders stepped out into the sun, along with the two legionaries. As the men fell in with their units, Fronto, Crispus, and Longinus clasped arms. "How long shall we remain in position before we retire to the camp?" Fronto shrugged. "Caesar will give it until noon and then pull the other force back. I would give the Germans maybe an hour after that before they come. It'll give the men a little time to eat. When we do fall back, allow them to go off duty, but make damn sure they're ready to fall in at a moment's notice." Crispus nodded, and Longinus, hauling himself into the saddle, addressed the two legates. "Both of you will need to be ready, but the cavalry can eat in the saddle. I'll pull them back to the camp at noon, but I'll keep them poised and mounted and out of sight. Then, if an attack comes at short notice, we can harry them while the legions fall in." With a slightly unsettling smile, Longinus set off for the cavalry on the wing. Crispus saluted Fronto, unnecessarily, he thought, and headed off toward the 11th. Fronto turned and walked between the lines of men to the front, where Priscus stood with the tribunes and the signifers and cornican of the first cohort. The 10th, like the 11th next to them, were in full battle formation, each century in position within the cohort, each cohort in position within the legion. With half of Longinus's cavalry on each wing, and numerous foot and missile auxiliary units in position behind and beside the legions, they were ready to move. He glanced briefly behind him at the foot rampart of the fort. Tetricus was the only officer not in position with the legion, having volunteered to man the walls and the artillery with the crews. They would doubtful be of any use this morning, even if the Germans did attack, but were a gratifying support. Should the legions be engaged and have to pull back toward the fort, the ballistae would take on great importance.